Hey y'all, I'm Val with Our Forever Farm. Today I'm just chopping up cheese. We're in the pantry challenge and you know we're using what we have. And so I had some little bits of cheddar cheese in the refrigerator and we are having a Valentine's breakfast. Now you're seeing this, I'm sure, after Valentine's, but we're having a Valentine's breakfast. And what I'm gonna make here is cheese grits. I'm so excited. Before I would have went and bought a pound of cheese just for this recipe. But I'm not doing that today. I'm using what I have. So I'm gonna guess that that's a pound. I'm not even gonna weigh it. It's gonna be good. This is the day before our Valentine's dinner and I'm trying to prepare as much as I can before we're having a Valentine's breakfast, and it's gonna be like for lunch. So I went out to the chicken coop and I got my eggs. I've got so many eggs, y'all. So I'm going to use these 3 eggs in this cheese grits. So I'm just using the quick grits. That's just what I have. That's what I make my bowl of grits out of. Sometimes I make enough for a week and just have it in the refrigerator in little bowls, and then I can just warm it up. Next, we're going to use 3/4 cup of butter. A stick is a 1/2 cup. So I'm going to do another half, and that should be 3/4 cup. Yeah. 1/2 cup, 1/4. Yeah. 3/4 cup. You're gonna need salt and pepper or seasoning salt. You're gonna need the W sauce. I try not to say that word. And this is totally up to you, but I use a little bit of hot sauce in mine. So I'm gonna go to the sink and spray this really good. You do want to grease your pan somewhat. You can use butter, you can use the cooking spray like I am, or just grease it with Crisco or something. We wanna make sure our oven's preheated to 350. You're gonna need a saucepan and 6 cups of water. And you wanna bring this water to a boil. Now we wanna measure out 1.5 cups of the quick cooking grits. Perfect. While our water is boiling, I'm gonna go ahead and crack these eggs and beat them right in this measuring cup that I measured the water out with. These are straight from the chicken coop. What to do is just go ahead and measure everything in with my eggs, and you don't have to do it in your grits. You just pour all of this in. So we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of the W sauce. You can wait and add it to your grits if that's the way you want to do it. We're gonna add 1/2 teaspoon of the hot sauce. You do not have to do this hot sauce. It makes for a good cheese grits though. Calls for 2 teaspoons of seasoning salt. My pink salt has pepper in it, so I'm not even gonna add pepper. And we've already got the hot sauce in there, so it calls for 2 teaspoons of salt. You can use any kind of salt you want. I also want to say a special thank you to Ella. It's my grandson's girlfriend. She gave me this apron for Christmas. I love it. It's a Valentine's apron, but I'm gonna wear it all the time because it's like Valentine's every day for me. I love it. We're gonna stir all this up. I like to mix all this together because when the water's boiling, when it's starting to boil, you can go ahead and have everything mixed up and go ahead and clean your kitchen. See, our water is boiling, and what we're gonna do is slowly add our grits in. 1.5 cups of grits. We're going to reduce the heat just a little bit and stir these. I'm reducing it to a low. I'm going to stir these up really good, and then when you get it on low, then you can put your lid on it and let it simmer for about 5 to 6 minutes, making sure it doesn't stick on the bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and add my 1.5 sticks of butter, which is 3/4 cup. And I'm just putting them in the eggs too. I'm gonna add all this in after that cooks for 5 or 6 minutes. So many people do not add everything together like I did in that measuring cup. They just leave their eggs for last and fold them in. And that will keep them from scrambling. But I've done this so much that I pretty well know how to temper my eggs. So I just temper my eggs and it melts my butter and it slowly warms up my eggs. You just add a little bit of grits to them and stir them constantly. So I'm pretty sure the recipe tells you to put everything in the grits and then fold your eggs in at the end, and that way it'll keep them from cooking. You don't want your eggs to scramble in your cheese grits. So you might want to follow the recipe if this is your first time cooking these, because you do have to temper your eggs if you do it the way I'm showing you. So that's turning out really, really good. That's butter, you see. That's not eggs scrambling because I'm constantly stirring the eggs. This is called tempering the eggs. So I guess you could tell my volume went out, but the next thing I'm going to do is add my cheese. That will help to cool the grits mixture down, getting ready for the eggs to go in. So as I put my cheese in, I turn my eye off, and I'm going to slowly add the egg mixture to this. This is the egg, the butter, the sauces, the salt. I'm just going to slowly add it and stir it while we're adding it. Because again, you do not want these to scramble the eggs. Just pour them all in where I can get it stirred. Once again, if you have never made these before, or you are scared of maybe scrambling the eggs inside the grits, go ahead and add all your ingredients, just like the recipe says, and fold your eggs in at the very end. That way you won't have to temper them, you won't have to worry about them scrambling. And then you pour it into your baking dish and bake it for 1 hour at 350. So I'm making this ahead. I'm making it the day before. You can also freeze these. You can set them in the refrigerator. That's what I'm going to do for our breakfast lunch we're having tomorrow. Well, the cheese grits are just about done, so I'm going to go ahead and take them out. The key to these cheese grits are the eggs, I'm telling you. The eggs, if you beat them good enough, it makes your cheese grits fluffy. And look how brown and pretty that is. Now this will go in the refrigerator after it cools for tomorrow. And we'll just warm that back up. So fast food, y'all, fast food. Cheese grits. I've got tallow going. I've got bone broth going. I've got my dishwasher being unloaded. I've got a lot going on. This is going to be so good. Y'all go cook something.